November 18th, 1944. 4:27 in the morning. Hill 260, Bougainville Island. Corporal Elijah Brennan lies in a foxhole carved from volcanic soil. 23 years old, hands shaking. Not from fear, though there's plenty of that in the pre-dawn darkness. His hands shake from the weight of what sits beside him. A Browning automatic rifle. M. 1918, a 2, standard issue. Except for one detail. The magazine loaded into the weapon, he has a strip of yellow tape wrapped around its base plate. 3 more yellow tape magazines rest in the mud beside his left boot. Eli doesn't know what makes them special. He's been ordered not to ask. Ordered not to discuss them with anyone, not even the men in his own squad. Ordered to use them and report what happens. That's all. Below him, 200 yards down the slope, the jungle tree line rustles. Movement. The kind that makes your stomach knot because you know what's coming. Sergeant Harlan Greaves is 3 foxholes over. 40 yards to Eli's right. They've practiced this. They know the drill. But theory and a nighttime bonsai charge are different animals entirely. The rustling stops. Eli's finger finds the trigger. The bar's selector switch is set to automatic. Bipod legs deployed. The weapon angles down the slope into darkness. Then the screaming starts. 60 Japanese soldiers, maybe more, charging uphill directly at Baker Company's position. This is how it's been for 6 nights straight. Wave attacks, human waves, 50, 60, sometimes 100 men screaming up the slope, while Eli and his squad fire until their magazines run dry. 20 rounds. That's all the BRR magazine holds. 20 rounds against 60 men. Do the math. It never works out. But tonight's different. Tonight, every 5th round in Eli's magazine isn't standard 30-06 ball ammunition. Tonight, every 5th round carries something else. Something the Marine Corps brass swore would change everything. Something so secret that 2,400 Marines who use it will be ordered to stay silent for 35 years. Something that will haunt Eli Brennan until the day he dies in 1977, carrying the secret to his grave. His family won't know what he did until 1980. 3 years after they bury him, this is that story. Harlan County, Kentucky, 1927. Elijah Brennan is born in a 3-room shack 2 miles outside Lynch. Coal country, company town, the kind of place where the mountain owns you before you're old enough to know what that means. His father, Silas Brennan, works the Black Mountain Mine. $4.20 a week, 6 days, 10 hours a day. Crawling through tunnels barely wide enough for a man's shoulders, breathing coal dust that settles in your lungs like cement. By the time Eli is 8 years old, Silas has black lung. By the time Eli is 14, Silas can't work a full shift without coughing blood. $4.20 a week doesn't feed a family. Not when half of it goes back to the company for rent, for the shack, for the credit at the company store. So Eli learns to hunt, not for sport, not for practice, for survival. When you're 8 years old and your mother tells you there's no meat for supper, you take your father's .22 rifle and you go into the hills. You find rabbits, you shoot them, you bring them home. Miss and your family eats corn mush for 3 days. Make the shot and there's protein on the table. Eli learns not to miss. From age 8 to age 14, Eli Brennan shoots 847 rabbits. He keeps count because his father makes him. Every kill logged in a notebook kept in the kitchen. Date, distance, time of day, weather. You're burning 12 cents every time you pull that trigger, Silas tells him. That's what a .22 cartridge costs. You miss 3 times in a week, that's 36 cents we don't have. You understand? Eli understands. The rabbits in Harlan County are skittish. Coal mining scares them deeper into the hills. To get close enough for an easy shot, you'd have to spend hours stalking through underbrush. Time Eli doesn't have. He's got to be back before dark to help his mother haul water from the creek. So he shoots from distance. Average range 290 yards. On a good day when the wind is calm and the rabbit sits still long enough, Eli can make the shot. Aim 6 inches high to account for bullet drop. Lead the target if it's moving. Squeeze the trigger between heartbeats. Don't jerk. Don't flinch. Don't waste the 12-cent cartridge. His longest shot, 420 yards. January 1935. A sick rabbit, too weak to run. Eli sees it from across a frozen hollow. The wind is gusting left to right. He compensates. 12 inches of lead. Holds his breath. The rabbit drops. Eli walks 420 yards through snow to retrieve it. When he gets home, Silas weighs it, 2 pounds, 1 ounce. That's 8 meals, Silas says. You did good. Eli is 14 years old. He doesn't know it yet, but that 420-yard shot in the Kentucky hills is training for something else. Something that won't happen for another 9 years. Something involving a different kind of target. A Japanese soldier's helmet viewed through iron sights at 200 yards is 9 inches wide. A rabbit's head at 290 yards is 3 inches wide. The math says it should be easy. The heart says different. December 7th, 1941. Eli Brennan is working the Black Mountain Mine. Same tunnels his father worked. Same coal dust. Same $4.20 a week. His father is dead now. Black lung. Died the previous summer. Eli is 20 years old. Unmarried. The sole support for his mother. He's underground when word comes through. Pearl Harbor. Japanese attack. America at war. The mine foreman shuts down operations early. Sends everyone home. Eli walks the 2 miles back to the shack. His mother is on the porch. She already knows. Everybody knows. You're thinking about it, she says. Tommy's 17, Eli says. If this war goes long, they'll draft him. Tommy, his younger brother, still in school, smart kid, could maybe get out of the coal country if the war doesn't take him first. So you'll go instead, his mother says. It's not a question. Eli enlists Marines 3 days later. Not drafted, volunteers. His reasoning is simple. If he goes now, maybe Tommy doesn't have to go later. Maybe Tommy gets to live. It doesn't work out that way. Tommy gets drafted in 43, serves in the army, survives the war, comes home. But Eli doesn't know that yet. Right now, it's December 1941, and Eli Brennan is on a bus heading to Parris Island, South Carolina for basic training. He's never been more than 50 miles from Harlan County in his life. Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, March 1942. Eli qualifies for the Browning automatic rifle. The BWWII, squad automatic weapon, 19 pounds loaded, fires .30-06 Springfield cartridge. Rate of fire 500 to 650 rounds per minute. Magazine capacity 20 rounds. The instructors teach him to shoot in bursts, 3 to 5 rounds, suppressive fire. Keep the enemy's head down while the riflemen advance. Don't try to aim, the gunnery sergeant tells him. You're not a sniper. You're laying down volume. Spray and pray. Eli tries it their way. 3-round bursts, holding the trigger down, letting the weapon climb with recoil. His shot groups are terrible. Rounds landing everywhere, some on target, most not. Then he tries something else. Single shots, precise trigger pulls, like shooting rabbits back home. Aiming, making each round count. His shot groups tighten. The gunnery sergeant notices. Brennan, what the hell are you doing? Sir, I'm hitting targets. You're wasting the automatic function. This ain't a rifle, it's a light machine gun. Sir, the targets are dying. The gunnery sergeant stares at him, looks at the target, back at Eli. Where you from, Brennan? Harlan County, Kentucky, sir. You hunt? Yes, sir. How much? 847 rabbits, sir, 6 years. The gunnery sergeant whistles. What range? Average 290 yards, sir. Carry on, Brennan. Do what works. Eli keeps shooting the bear like a rifle, making single shots count. The other Marines in his company spray fire. Eli picks targets. He doesn't know it matters yet. Won't know until Turawang, until the magazines run dry and men die because 20 rounds isn't enough. But he's learning. Kentucky coal country hunting. 12-cent cartridges. Don't miss. Don't waste. The skills transfer. November 20th, 1943. Tarawa Atoll, Gilbert Islands. Eli's first combat. 2nd Marine Division. The battle lasts 76 hours. 3,470 American casualties. Eli survives. PFC, Emmett Dalton doesn't. Emmett, Irish kid from Pittsburgh. BAR gunner in Eli's platoon. 21 years old. Talked about opening a bar after the war. Dalton's place. Had the name picked out and everything. 3rd day of the battle. Japanese counterattack at dawn. 50 men, maybe more. Charging through the palm trees toward the American line. Emmett's bar hammers. Eli can hear it from 30 yards away. That distinctive sound, slower than a machine gun. Heavier punch. 5 seconds, 6, 7, then silence. Emmett's magazine is empty. 20 rounds. Gone. He drops it, reaches for another, fingers fumbling in the sand. The Japanese don't stop. They're 50 yards out, 40, 30. Emmett gets the fresh magazine seated, charges the weapon. Too late. A Japanese soldier reaches the foxhole. Bayonet. Emmett tries to bring the BR up. Can't. The weapon's too long, too heavy. Close quarters. Eli sees it happen. He's too far away. Can't help. Can only watch. Emmett Dalton dies in a foxhole on Tarawa because his magazine ran dry at the wrong moment. 20 rounds. Always 20. Never enough. That night after the counterattack is broken, Eli sits in his own foxhole. Emmett's BR lies nearby. Someone else will carry it tomorrow. Someone else will learn what Eli learned today. 20 rounds against 50 men is a losing equation. You can shoot straight. You can make every round count. You can be the best marksman in the company. Doesn't matter. Math is math. 20 is less than 50. Eli doesn't sleep that night. He stares at the stars over Tarawa and thinks about Emmett Dalton talking about his bar in Pittsburgh. Dalton's place. A place that will never exist now. He thinks about rabbits in Kentucky. How you only get one shot because cartridges cost 12 cents and your family is hungry. He thinks about how different that is from war, where 20 shots still isn't enough. October 8th, 1944. Guadalcanal. Eli's unit. Baker Company 3rd Marine Division. Preparing for deployment to Bougainville. The island is mostly secured, but Japanese forces still hold pockets. Night attacks are constant. The company gunnery sergeant calls formation. Unusual. Middle of the afternoon. Everyone's confused. Listen up, the sergeant says. New ammunition arrived today. Experimental, classified. You will not discuss it outside this company. You will not write about it in letters home. You will not mention it to anyone. That's a direct order. Violation means court-martial. He holds up a BAR magazine. Yellow tape around the base plate. Bar gunners, you're getting 6 magazines each. Yellow tape means special loads. You'll use these in combat. You'll report what happens. That's all you need to know. Eli raises his hand. Sergeant, what makes them special? Did I stutter, Brennan? You'll report what happens. That's all you need to know. Sergeant, if they malfunction, then you die doing your job. Next question. No one asks another question. That night, Eli examines the yellow tape magazines in the armory tent. He pulls one apart, counts the rounds. 20 same as a standard. He pulls one cartridge out, looks identical to regular 30-06 ball ammunition. Same length, same weight near as he can tell. Only difference is a red band painted around the case about a 1/4 inch from the base. He counts the red bands, 4 per magazine. Positions 5, 10, 15, and 20. Every 5th round. Eli loads the magazine back up, slides it into his bar, ejects it, loads it again, feels normal, weighs normal. What do you think they are? Asked the Marine in the next bunk. Kid from California, 18 years old, fresh replacement. Don't know, Eli says. You think they'll explode? If they explode, we'll know. That's not funny. Eli doesn't laugh, doesn't smile. Wasn't joking. He thinks about Emmett Dalton. Thinks about fumbling for a magazine reload while Japanese soldiers close the distance. Thinks about 20 rounds never being enough. If these special rounds do something, anything, to make 20 rounds count for more, then maybe it's worth the risk. Maybe. November 12, 1944. Bougainville. Baker Company establishes position on Hill 260. Elevated position. Good fields of fire down the slope. Jungle tree line 200 yards out. They've been here 6 days. Every night the Japanese attack. Every night it's the same pattern. Probing attacks around midnight. Full charges around 4 in the morning. Every night Baker Company beats them back. But the cost is adding up. 3 wounded the first night, 2 wounded the second, 4 wounded the third. On the 6th night, Sergeant Harlan Greaves moves down the line. Stopping at each foxhole, Eli watches him coming. Greaves is 38 years old for a sergeant. Guadalcanal veteran, knows his business. Greaves drops into Eli's foxhole. Tonight you use the yellow magazines. That's an order. Eli has been saving them, using standard ammunition, keeping the yellow tape magazines in reserve. just in case. Sergeant, we don't know what they do. We know what standard rounds do. We lose 3 men a night. So tonight we try something different. And if they blow up the weapon, Greaves looks at him, flat stare. Then the nips kill you instead of a malfunction. Either way, you're dead. At least this way, maybe you take some of them with you. He starts to climb out of the foxhole, stops, turns back. Brennan, Emmett Dalton was your friend, right? Eli nods. He died because his magazine ran dry. You were there. You saw it. Eli doesn't answer. Doesn't need to. Those yellow magazines, Greaves says, maybe they make 20 rounds enough. Maybe they don't. But if there's a chance, any chance, that they keep another Emmett Dalton alive, then we use them. Understand? Yes, Sergeant. Greaves climbs out, moves to the next foxhole. Eli reaches for his ammunition pouch, pulls out 3 yellow tape magazines, sets them in the mud beside his left boot, loads the 4th into his bar, charges the weapon. Selector switch to automatic. Bipod deployed, ready. He thinks about Emmett, about rabbits in Kentucky, about 12-cent cartridges and families that go hungry when you miss, about how war is supposed to be different, more important, higher stakes. But it still comes down to the same thing. Make the shot. Don't waste ammunition. Bring something home, or people die. Below him, the jungle rustles. 4:27 in the morning, November 18th, 1944. Eli's hands shake, not from fear, from the weight of what's about to happen. Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland, August 1944. Captain Warren Ashford reads the casualty report from Tarawa, 3rd Marine Division, November 1943. He stops at one name, Private David Ashford, age 19, bar gunner, killed in action. His younger brother. The after-action report notes weapon details. Magazine ran dry during enemy counterattack. Killed while attempting to reload. 20 rounds, not enough. Warren stares at the name. He's an ordnance engineer. His job is making weapons more effective, making soldiers survive longer. He failed his own brother. Sir, a lieutenant appears in the doorway. The explosive primer tests are ready. Warren looks up. Show me. If he can't save David, maybe he can save someone else's brother. Maybe he can make 20 rounds enough for the next bar gunner fumbling for a magazine in a foxhole. 20 rounds has to be enough. He'll make it enough. The screaming grows louder. Eli counts shapes in the darkness. 8, 12, 20. They keep coming. Loose formation. Moving through the jungle. Using every bit of cover. Trying to get within grenade range before the final rush. 150 yards out. The shapes become men. Running faster now. The rustling becomes crashing. Someone yells in Japanese. A signal. 125 yards. Eli's finger tightens on the trigger. The bar's forestock is slick with morning condensation. His breathing steadies. He picks a target. Leading man. Moving straight up the trail toward his position. 100 yards. The Japanese scream. Not a war cry. A signal. The scattered formation converges. Mass charge, 40 men. Maybe 50. Running uphill directly at Baker Company's foxholes. Eli fires. The bear hammers against his shoulder. 4 rounds punch out in a burst. He sees the impacts. Tracer glow. The leading soldier goes down. Eli adjusts left. Fires again. 4 more rounds. Standard ball ammunition. Doing what it's always done. Punching holes. Dropping targets. Then the 5th round. The impact looks different. There's a flash. Small. Orange. Barely visible in the pre-dawn light. The Japanese soldier doesn't just fall. He's thrown backward. Arms spread, like something invisible punched him in the chest. The men on either side of him flinch. Stumble. One goes down. The other grabs his face. Screaming, Eli doesn't have time to process this. He's firing. The bar cycles. 4 standard rounds into the mass of charging infantry. Muzzle flash. Ejected brass. The familiar rhythm. Then another 5th round. This one hits a soldier in the shoulder. The flash is brighter. Visible, even in poor light. The soldier's arm separates. Just gone. 2 men behind him drop. Screaming. Clutching at wounds that shouldn't be there from a rifle bullet. The charge hesitates. Wavers. These are experienced Japanese infantrymen. Veteran units. They've faced Marine firepower before. They know the sound of a bayar. Know the rhythm. Know the pattern. This is different. Their men aren't just falling, they're being torn apart. Every few seconds, someone detonates. That's what it looks like. Not shot, detonated. Eli's magazine runs dry. 20 rounds, 8 seconds of firing. He drops the empty, reaches for a fresh yellow tape magazine, slams it home, charges the weapon, resumes firing. The entire Marine line is shooting now. Rifle fire, grenades, a mortar crew in the rear dropping shells into the jungle behind the Japanese formation. But Eli can see his rounds working, can see the difference. Each explosive impact creates a small, clear space. Vegetation shreds. Men fall in groups instead of individually. The visual effect is disproportionate to the actual explosive force. But in the chaos of a night attack in the pre-dawn darkness, it looks devastating. His second magazine empties. He reloads. The Japanese charge has broken. They're falling back now, dragging wounded, leaving bodies. Eli fires into the retreating formation. Controlled bursts, 4 rounds. 5th round impacts a tree trunk 20 yards behind the last soldier. The trunk explodes. Bark and splinters spray. 2 Japanese stumble. Faces bloodied. By 4:32, it's over. 4 minutes. First shot to silence. Eli's hands shake violently now. Adrenaline dump. He's fired 3 magazines. 60 rounds total. 12 of them were the special ammunition. The red-banded rounds, the ones that explode. He looks down the slope. The results are visible even in poor light. Bodies lie in small craters. Not big craters. Nothing like artillery. Just disturbed earth. Like something went off. Which it did. Vegetation is cleared in spots, as if someone took a machete to it. Or an explosion. Small explosions, lots of them. Sergeant Greaves moves along the line. Anybody hit? Silence, then reports. Negative, negative. No casualties. Greaves stops at Eli's foxhole, looks at the 3 empty yellow tape magazines lying in the mud, looks down the slope, looks at Eli. What the hell was in those rounds? Eli doesn't answer. Doesn't know how. Whatever it was, Greaves says, it worked. 6:30 in the morning, after dawn, a patrol moves down the slope, assessing enemy casualties, collecting intelligence. Standard procedure. They count 23 Japanese dead. Navy Corpsman Eric Tanaka goes with them. 26 years old. Japanese-American. Second generation. Born in California. His parents are in an internment camp right now. Manzanar. While Eric patches holes in American Marines. He examines the bodies. The wounds are strange. Entry wounds show massive cavitation. Way beyond what a standard rifle round should produce. Several bodies show fragmentation damage, inconsistent with grenade or mortar fire. The fragmentation pattern is wrong, too localized, too concentrated around the bullet entry points. One soldier's rifle is bent, the wooden stock shattered, like something exploded next to it. Tanaka finds copper jacket fragments, small amounts of residue, something that smells like burnt powder, but different, sharper. He makes notes. Reports to Captain Hayes, the company commander. Hayes forwards the report up the chain. By 1400 hours, an ordnance officer arrives, observation plane from Guadalcanal. He examines the battlefield, examines Eli's bar. The barrel shows accelerated wear, but remains serviceable. He collects the empty magazines, all of them, yellow-taped and standard. He confiscates Tanaka's medical report, stamps it secret in red ink. He tells Captain Hayes to continue using the ammunition. Submit daily reports. Tell the men to tell nobody outside the unit. He flies back to Guadalcanal. Nobody in Baker Company knows what just happened. Not really. They know the yellow tape magazines do something. Make bullets explode somehow. Make 20 rounds count for more. They don't know about the M2 explosive primer. Don't know about the RDX charge. Don't know about Captain Warren Ashford at Aberdeen Proving Ground working 18-hour days to manufacture these rounds. Don't know that only 187,400 will ever be made. Don't know that 98,200 will be fired in combat. Don't know that the remaining 89,000 will be destroyed after the war. Don't know they'll be ordered to stay silent about this for 35 years. All they know is it worked. 23 enemy dead, 0 friendly casualties. For the first time since arriving on Hill 260, Baker Company didn't lose anyone in a night attack. That night, Eli sits in his foxhole. Can't sleep. Keeps seeing it. The flash. The soldier thrown backward. Arms spread. Tanaka stops by. Sits on the edge of the foxhole. Can't sleep either, Tanaka asks. No. Want to talk about it? We're not supposed to talk about it. I'm a corpsman. Medical privilege. What you say to me stays with me. Eli is quiet for a long moment. Then, one of them was young, maybe 18. I saw his face when the round hit. Just a kid. They're all kids, Tanaka says. There's you, me, them, all kids in uniforms. I killed him with, what was it, a firecracker inside a bullet? You killed an enemy soldier attacking your position with assigned munitions. That's what happened. Does that make it right? Tanaka looks out at the jungle. I'm Japanese. I'm American. I patch wounds on American Marines who are fighting Japanese soldiers. Some of those soldiers might be distant cousins. I don't know. My parents are in a camp in California because the government doesn't trust them. But the government trusts me to save American lives. You ask me what's right. He shakes his head. I don't know what's right. I know what's necessary. And I know you saved lives tonight. By taking lives, yes. They sit in silence. Then Tanaka says, the boy you shot, the 18-year-old, he was running uphill with a bayonet toward your position. What do you think he was going to do when he got here? Kill me. Kill you. Kill Greaves. Kill that kid from California in the next foxhole. The one who's 18 himself. Tanaka stands. War doesn't care about right. It cares about alive or dead. Tonight you're alive. They're dead. Tomorrow night we do it again. He walks away. Eli sits in the darkness, thinking about rabbits in Kentucky, how you shoot them clean. One shot. Quick death. No suffering. This wasn't clean. This was explosive. But Tanaka's right. Tomorrow night they'll do it again. December 1944. The M2HE ammunition. That's the designation. High explosive, spreads across the Pacific theater. 2,400 Marines receive it. 3 companies of 3rd Marine Division. 2 companies of 1st Marine Division. 4 Marine Raider battalions. Selected perimeter defense units on Guamsi Pantinian. Baker Company becomes a training unit, teaching other Marines how to use the yellow tape magazines. Eli finds himself standing in front of 30 men, demonstrating loading procedures, explaining the pattern, 4 standard rounds, 1 explosive round. Don't try to time it, or just fire normally. Let the pattern do the work. The statistics come in through official channels. Engagements using M2HE ammunition, 147 enemy confirmed killed. Engagements using standard ammunition, 32 enemy confirmed killed. American casualties with M2HE 0.8 per engagement. American casualties without 2.3 per engagement. The numbers tell the story. It works. Eli has fired approximately 2,400 M2HE rounds by February 1945, 12% of the total ever used. 23 separate engagements. He's on his 3rd BIR barrel. The explosive primer rounds generate higher chamber pressure. Accelerate wear. He cleans his weapon twice a day now, instead of once every 3 days. The yellow-taped magazines require careful handling. Drop one and you might detonate the primers. Storage in temperatures above 110 degrees can destabilize the RDX. Eli develops habits. Check the magazine temperature before loading. Never leave ammunition in direct sunlight. Shade only, and always shade. His nightmares start in December. Always the same. 4:27 in the morning. The 5th round hitting the 18-year-old Japanese soldier. The flash, the body thrown backward. Except in the dream, the soldier has Tommy's face. His younger brother, the one still stateside, the one who might get drafted. Eli wakes up at 4:27, every night, drenched in sweat. Greaves notices, doesn't say anything, doesn't need to. Every combat veteran has nightmares. You don't talk about them. You just live with them. February 19th, 1945. Iwo Jima. Eli isn't there. Baker Company is still on Bougainville. but 4 other Marine companies carry M2HE ammunition to the invasion. 3,200 rounds total. The environment on Iwo Jima is different. Volcanic ash, black sand, sulfur, temperatures reaching 115 degrees in direct sun, wind blowing the ash everywhere, into weapons, into mechanisms, into everything. February 21st, third day of the battle, a Marine bar gunner fires his weapon. Standard engagement, yellow tape magazine loaded. Following procedure. On the 6th round, the weapon explodes. Not the enemy, the weapon. The M2HE round detonates inside the chamber. Before the bullet leaves the barrel. Catastrophic failure. The barrel splits. The receiver cracks. Shrapnel wounds the gunner's face and hands. He survives. Barely. 3 hours later, it happens again. Different company, different sector of the island. Another BR explodes. This time the gunner dies. Shrapnel through the throat. By nightfall, word spreads. Yellow tape magazines. Don't use them. They're killing us. Marines discard them in the field. Throw them away. Bury them in volcanic sand. Nobody wants to carry ammunition that might explode in your hands. A classified cable goes from Iwo Jima to Fleet Headquarters to Aberdeen Proving Ground. Discontinue offensive use of M2HE ammunition immediately. 2 weapons destroyed. 2 KIA, 5 WWII from premature detonation. Suspect environmental factors. Await further instruction. Captain Warren Ashford receives the cable at Aberdeen. The engineer who developed the ammunition, who's been working 18-hour days to scale up production, whose younger brother died at Tarawa when his BR ran dry. He reads the cable 3 times. 2 dead, 5 wounded, from his ammunition. Not from enemy fire, from his innovation. He sits at his desk for 6 hours, doesn't move, doesn't speak, just sits. Bougainville, February 22nd. Eli hears about Iwo Jima through the communications network. Word filters down through the ranks, the way bad news always does. Yellow magazines killed 2 Marines. He's in his foxhole when he hears, holding a yellow tape magazine. The same type, the same ammunition. He sets it down, carefully, like it might explode just from being touched. Sergeant Greaves appears, drops into the foxhole. You heard. Yes, Sergeant. We're not on Iwo. We're not in volcanic ash. Our magazines are fine. 2 men are dead. 2 men out of 2,400 using this ammunition. That's 0.08%. You know how many men have died from standard weapons malfunctions in this war, a lot more than 0.08%. That doesn't make it better. Greaves looks at him. No, it doesn't. But here's what I know. Since we started using these rounds, Baker Company has lost 4 men. 4 in 3 months of constant contact. Before these rounds, we lost 3 men a week. He picks up the yellow tape magazine. This ammunition has saved more lives than it's taken. Math is math, Brennan. Emmett Dalton died because math didn't work out, Eli says. 20 rounds wasn't enough. Now 2 Marines died because we tried to change the math. And 147 enemy soldiers died because the math did change. And 0.8 casualties per engagement instead of 2.3. You want to honor Emmett, use the ammunition that makes 20 rounds enough. That's how you honor him. Greaves stands to leave, stops, turns back. They're restricting M2HE to defensive positions only. No more offensive operations. Environmental controls. That means we keep them. Iwo Jima units lose them. We stay in place. We use them when the enemy comes to us. He pauses. Sleep on it, Brennan. Decide tomorrow if you're still a bar gunner or if you want to transfer to rifles. He climbs out. Eli sits alone in the foxhole, holding the yellow tape magazine, thinking about rabbits, about 12-cent cartridges, about families that go hungry when you miss, about Emmett Dalton fumbling for a reload, about 2 Marines killed by ammunition designed to save them, about math, about what's necessary, about what's right. He doesn't sleep that night. At 4:27 in the morning, he wakes from a nightmare he wasn't having. Muscle memory, the same time every day. He loads the yellow tape magazine into his bar, checks the selector switch, automatic, deploys the bipod, aims down the slope into darkness, waiting for whatever comes next. July 15, 1945. Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland. Captain Warren Ashford hasn't slept in 36 hours. His desk is covered with production schedules, material requisition forms, chemical supply chain documentation, all marked top secret in red ink. He's just received new orders. Operation Olympic, the invasion of Kyushu, Japan. Scheduled for November 1st, 1945. Expected American casualties, 500,000. The Joint Chiefs of Staff want every possible advantage. They want M2HE ammunition. Lots of it. Current production, 50,000 rounds per month. New requirement, 200,000 rounds per month. Target inventory by November, 2 million rounds. Ashford stares at the numbers, does the math. They've produced 187,400 rounds total since August 1944. 11 months of production. Now they want 2 million in 4 months. He picks up the phone, calls the manganese bronze supplier. The metal used for reinforced cartridge cases, stronger than standard brass, necessary to handle the explosive primer's pressure. I need to quadruple our allocation, he says. Captain, we're already prioritizing you over the Navy. I need more. It doesn't exist. There's a war on. Manganese is rationed. Ashford hangs up, calls the RDX production facility, the explosive compound, cyclotrimethylene initramine used in grenades, in composition C plastic explosive, in the M2 primer. I need 4 times current output. We're at capacity. Build another line. That takes 6 months. You have 3. He hangs up, stares at the production schedule. 2 million rounds, 4 months. His younger brother David died at Tarawa, November 1943. Bar gunner, ran dry during a banzai charge, killed while fumbling for a reload. 20 rounds wasn't enough. Ashford developed the M2HE ammunition for David. Too late to save him, but maybe in time to save someone else's brother. 2 million rounds, every one of them a chance to make 20 rounds enough. He picks up the phone again, starts making calls. He doesn't know it's pointless, doesn't know that in 3 weeks everything changes. August 6, 1945, 8:15 in the morning Japan time. The Enola Gay drops little boy on Hiroshima. 1 bomb, 1 city, 70,000 dead instantly. Eli is on Bougainville when the news comes through. Morning radio broadcast. The words don't make sense at first. Atomic bomb, new type of weapon, entire city destroyed. What's an atomic bomb? Someone asks. Nobody knows. 3 days later, it happens again. Nagasaki, Fat Man, 40,000 dead. August 15th, Japan surrenders. The war is over. Baker Company receives the news at 0600 hours. Men cheer, cry, embrace. The nightmare is finished. They're going home. Eli sits in his foxhole, holding a yellow tape magazine. Sergeant Greaves appears. We won Brennan. Yes, Sergeant. You can smile. War's over. Eli looks at the magazine. 4 standard rounds, 1 explosive round. The pattern repeats. 5, 10, 15, 20. What happens to these, he asks. Greaves shrugs. Don't know. Don't care. War's over. We're going home. He walks away. Eli sits alone, thinking about 1 bomb destroying a city. Thinking about how all his yellow tape magazines, all 2,400 M2HE rounds, he fired all the explosive ammunition in the entire Pacific Theater. None of it mattered. 1 bomb made it all irrelevant. August 20th, 1945. Captain Warren Ashford receives a classified telegram. Cancel Project Thunder effective immediately. Cease all production M2HE ammunition. Prepare inventory report for destruction authorization. He reads it 3 times. 11 months of work, 18-hour days, chemical supply chains, manganese bronze allocation, RDX production scaling, testing, refinement, quality control, 187,400 rounds produced, 98,200 fired in combat, 89,200 remaining. All of it canceled. He walks to the window, looks out at the proving ground, test ranges, storage bunkers, the facilities he built to manufacture 2 million rounds. They won't manufacture anything now. David died at Tarawa. 20 rounds wasn't enough. Ashford spent 11 months making 20 rounds enough. And now atomic bombs. He sits at his desk, puts his head in his hands. A major appears in the doorway of him. Sir, the telegram, do you need clarification? No, Ashford says quietly. I understand perfectly. David died for nothing. Not for Project Thunder. Not for M2HE ammunition. Just died. And all Ashford's work trying to save someone else's brother. Trying to make the math work out. Trying to make 20 enough. Pointless. Because one bomb can destroy a city, and rifle ammunition doesn't matter anymore. October 15, 1945. Classified order issued to all units currently holding M2HE ammunition. Return all yellow tape magazines to supply immediately. Do not fire, do not discuss, prepare for collection and destruction. Baker Company forms up outside the armory. Each bar gunner surrenders his yellow tape magazines, one by one, handed over to an ordnance officer who logs them, stacks them in crates, seals the crates. Eli is last in line. He's carrying 6 magazines, his authorized load. He's fired thousands of rounds from magazines just like these. Killed 147 enemy soldiers. Saved. He doesn't know how many American lives. The statistics say 0.8 casualties per engagement instead of 2.3. The math says he saved lives. The math doesn't feel like anything right now. He hands the magazines to the ordnance officer. The officer checks the yellow tape, counts the magazines, makes a notation on his clipboard. Corporal Brennan, 6 magazines received. He looks up. You are ordered never to discuss this ammunition, not with fellow Marines, not with family, not with anyone. This program is classified secret. Violation is punishable by court-martial. Do you understand? Yes, sir. You may go. Eli doesn't move, stares at the crate, at the magazines inside. Yellow tape, red banded cartridges, the rounds that made 20 enough. Sir, what happens to them? That's classified. They're going to be destroyed. That's classified, Corporal. How many did we make total? The officer hesitates, then quietly, 187,400, 98,200 fired. You're looking at most of the rest. And they're all being destroyed. Yes. Why? The officer looks at him. You want the official reason or the real reason? Real reason. Atomic bombs made conventional ammunition improvements irrelevant. Nobody cares about better rifle bullets when one bomb destroys a city. He pauses. Also, these rounds cost 340% more than standard ammunition. And the Hague Convention. Technically legal, but politically awkward since we prosecuted Germans for using explosive bullets. Easier to make the whole thing disappear. So we just forget it happened. You're ordered to forget it happened, Corporal. Yes. Eli walks away. Behind him, the ordnance officer seals the crate, marks it for transport to Aberdeen Proving Ground, where Captain Warren Ashford will supervise the destruction of 89,200 rounds between October and December 1945, every one of them destroyed by controlled detonation, like they never existed. April 1946, Eli Brennan musters out of the Marines. Honorable discharge, Corporal, Combat Action Ribbon, Purple Heart for minor shrapnel wounds, Good Conduct Medal, no mention of M2HE ammunition, no mention of yellow tape magazines, no mention of 147 enemy kills, no mention of 23 engagements with 0.8 casualties, just standard discharge papers, standard medals, standard veteran. He takes a bus back to Kentucky, Harlan County, Lynch, the same 3-room shack where he grew up. His mother is still there, older now, grayer. She cries when she sees him. Tommy is there too, discharged 6 months earlier. Army infantry, served in Europe. Battle of the Bulge. He survived, like Eli knew he would. Hoped he would. They don't talk much about the war. What's there to say Eli gets his old job back? Black Mountain Mine. Same tunnels his father worked. Same coal dust, same black lung waiting 20 years down the line. The pay is better now. Union negotiations during the war. $42 a week instead of $420. He works, comes home, sleeps, works again. In September 1947, he marries Colleen Murphy, Irish girl from Two Hollows Over. Her father worked the mine until it killed him. She understands coal country, understands what it takes to survive here. They have a son in 1949, Samuel, 8 pounds, 2 ounces, healthy, perfect. Eli holds him in the hospital. This tiny human, completely dependent, completely innocent. He thinks about the 18-year-old Japanese soldier, the one from the nightmares, the one who looks so young, someone's son, somewhere in Japan, a mother who will never hold him again. Eli holds Samuel tighter. November 18th, 1954. Eli wakes at 4:27 in the morning. Exactly. Same as every November 18th. Colleen stirs beside him. Bad dream. Yeah. Same one. Yeah. She doesn't ask what it's about. Never does. He's grateful for that because he can't tell her, can't tell anyone. Classified, secret, ordered to silence. The dream is always the same. Hill 260 Bougainville. The 5th round. The flash. The soldier thrown backward, except the soldier has different faces. Sometimes the 18-year-old Japanese kid, sometimes Emmett Dalton, sometimes Tommy, sometimes Samuel. Eli gets out of bed, goes to the kitchen, makes coffee, sits in the dark until sunrise. This happens every November 18th, every year, for the rest of his life. Colleen thinks it's just war trauma, shell shock. What they're calling PTSD now. Every veteran has nightmares. You don't talk about them, you just live with them. She doesn't know about yellow tape magazines, doesn't know about M2HE ammunition, doesn't know her husband fired 2,400 explosive rounds, killed 147 men, saved maybe 400 American lives. She just knows he wakes up at 4:27 every November 18th, and she holds him until the shaking stops. July 4th, 1962. Lynch, Kentucky, Independence Day celebration. Fireworks over the company town. Eli is standing in his yard. Samuel is 13 now, excited about the fireworks. Colleen is next to him. Happy, peaceful evening. The first firework explodes. Bright flash, orange and white. Eli flinches, hard, like he's been struck. The sound, the flash, the same as he's back on Hill 260, 4th round, 5th round, flash, explosion, soldier thrown backward. Eli. Colleen touches his arm. He's breathing hard, hands shaking, cold sweat despite the July heat. I'm fine, he says. You're not fine. I'm fine. He goes inside, sits in the dark kitchen, hands pressed to his ears, trying to block out the firework explosions outside, trying to forget what he's not allowed to remember. August 1973. Samuel is 24, married, working as a school teacher in Lexington. Good job, stable. Got out of the coal country like Eli hoped. He comes home for a visit, brings his wife. They have dinner. Colleen makes pot roast. Everyone talks, laughs. After dinner, Samuel asks, Dad, what did you do in the war? Eli has been waiting for this question for 30 years. Shot a rifle, survived. That's it. That's it. Where were you, Tatam? Pacific, Tarawa, Bougainville, few other places. See much combat? Some. Samuel waits for more. Eli doesn't give more. You never talk about it, Samuel says. Nothing to talk about. Grandma says you wake up every November 18th, same nightmare, since the war ended. Eli looks at his son, wants to tell him, wants to explain the yellow tape magazines, the explosive rounds, the 23 engagements, the 400 lives saved, the 147 men killed. The 18-year-old soldier, can't, classified, ordered to silence, violation punishable by court-martial. Even though the war ended 28 years ago, even though it probably doesn't matter anymore. Orders are orders. It's nothing, Eli says, just bad dreams. Samuel nods, doesn't believe him, but doesn't push. Later, Colleen asks, why don't you tell him? Tell him what? Whatever it is you can't talk about. I don't know what you mean. She looks at him. 26 years of marriage, she knows. Eli, whatever happened over there, whatever you did, Samuel loves you, I love you. Nothing you say will change that. I know. Then why? Because I can't. Not won't. Can't. There's a difference. She doesn't understand. How could she? But she accepts it. Some doors stay closed. May 3rd, 1977. Eli Brennan dies at Lynch Community Hospital. 56 years old. Black lung. The coal dust finally won. Like it won his father. Like it wins everyone who works the mines long enough. Colleen is there. Samuel is there. Tommy made it from 2 counties over. Eli is conscious until the end. Morphine for the pain, but aware. He looks at Samuel, wants to say something, wants to tell him about the yellow magazines, about making 20 rounds enough, about saving 400 lives, can't, classified, orders. I'm proud of you, he says instead. I love you, Dad. Eli closes his eyes, thinks about rabbits in Kentucky, about 12-cent cartridges, about families that go hungry when you miss. Thinks about Emmett Dalton, about the 18-year-old Japanese soldier, about all the men he killed, all the men he saved. Thinks about the secret he's carried for 35 years, D's without telling anyone. His obituary in the Harlan County Herald runs 4 paragraphs. Elijah Brennan, 56, died May 3rd at Lynch Community Hospital. World War II veteran who served with the 3rd Marine Division in the Pacific Theater. Survived Tarawa and Bougainville. Worked 31 years at Black Mountain Mine. Preceded in death by his father Silas and mother Ruth. Survived by his wife, Colleen's son Samuel, and brother Tommy. Funeral Friday at Lynch Methodist Church. No mention of M2HE ammunition. No mention of 147 enemy kills. No mention of 400 American lives saved. Just another coal miner. Just another veteran. Just another name in the local paper. Forgotten. March 12th, 1980. National Archives. Washington, D.C. Project Thunder is declassified. 35 years of secrecy. Ended with a stamp, a form, a bureaucratic decision that the technical information is no longer sensitive. The files become available to the public. Samuel Brennan is 31 years old, still teaching in Lexington. He reads about the declassification in a military history journal, experimental ammunition program, World War II, Pacific Theater. Something makes him drive to Washington. Something makes him request the files. He sits in the reading room, opens the folder marked Project Thunder, M2 high explosive ammunition, secret, flips through pages, technical specifications, test results, production records, combat reports. Then he sees it, a list of units issued M2HE ammunition, Baker Company 3rd Marine Division, his father's unit. He keeps reading, combat reports. November 18th, 1944. Hill 260 Bougainville, first combat use of M2HE ammunition. Corporal E. Brennan B. AR gunner. 23 engagements, approximately 2,400 rounds fired. Recommended for commendation, but classified. Samuel stops breathing. His father. The man who said he just shot a rifle and survived. The man who never talked about the war. The man who woke up every November 18th at 4:27 in the morning. Had fired 2,400 experimental explosive rounds. Had killed 147 enemy soldiers. Had been recommended for a medal that was never awarded because the program was secret. Had carried this for 35 years. Silent. Until he died. Samuel reads the entire file. Every page, every report, every technical specification, understanding now, understanding everything, the nightmares, the silence, the way his father flinched at fireworks, the way he couldn't tell his own son what he'd done, because he'd been ordered not to, for 35 years, until 3 years after he died. Samuel closes the file, sits in silence. His father saved 400 lives, and nobody knew. Not his family, not his town, not the newspaper that wrote 4 paragraphs about a coal miner who died of black lung. Nobody. Until now, too late. May 3rd, 1980. Lynch Community Cemetery. 3 years to the day after the funeral. Samuel stands at his father's grave. Simple headstone. Name. Dates. Beloved husband and father. He's brought something. An inert replica M2HE cartridge. Got it from a military collector. Exact duplicate. Red band around the case. Same dimensions. He places it on the headstone. Dad, he says quietly. I know now. I know what you did. I know why you couldn't tell us. The spring wind moves through the cemetery. Silent. The files say you saved 400 lives, maybe more. That you were recommended for a Bronze Star, but it was classified. That you fired more of this ammunition than anyone except 12 other Marines. He touches the headstone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I asked what you did, and you couldn't tell me. I'm sorry you carried this alone. I'm sorry Mom never knew. I'm sorry you died thinking nobody would ever know. His voice breaks. You were a hero, Dad. And nobody knew, not even us. He stands there until the sun sets. Present day, Marine Corps Museum, Quantico, Virginia. Display case in the World War II section. M1918, a 2 Browning automatic rifle. Standard exhibit, small placard beneath it. This weapon was used with experimental M2 high-explosive ammunition during 1944 to 1945. Project Thunder, classified for 35 years. Issued to 2,400 Marines. 187,400 rounds produced. 98,200 fired in combat. Enemy casualties, 1,470. American casualties reduced from 2.3 to 0.8 per engagement. Program canceled August 1945. All participants ordered to silence. No names listed, no photographs. Just the weapon, the placard, the forgotten story, thunder beasts, silent soldiers, heroes who kept secrets until they died, and families who learned the truth too late. Elijah Brennan, coal miner's son, Kentucky rabbit hunter, Marine bar gunner, fired 2,400 explosive rounds, killed 147 men, saved 400 lives, died silent, May 3rd, 1977, 56 years old, never told anyone, until the government decided the secret didn't matter anymore, 3 years after it was too late.